All right, guys, so here we are. First real project in the new garage. I've done a little bit more cleanup. Can't tell all this stuff is gonna go into the shed when it ever gets here, but yeah, at least we can get a couple inches in front of the car now, but we're getting there. So word of mouth is I do T5, so what we got here is a T5 Z-spec, and it's here for bad going into third gear. So we're gonna take it apart and see what we find. I don't think this transmission's done many miles at all. I think it's either down to the driver leaning on the shifter or it's a cheap shifter. The stops don't seem to be adjusted properly. There's a gap in the third, but you go to fourth, you know, it's almost touching this this shifter stop here. So we'll have to see about that. I mean, I've never heard this shifter before. Roll X and whatever awesome piece of stuff that is. So probably straight out of China. So I'll get in here, see what I find. You can tell it's a T5Z. I don't know if you can read the number, 1352-251. So that's a telltale sign it's a Z-spec. And usually you can tell it's a later one by this little rubber ball on here and these twin little holes in the casting. So that's a later Tremec edition. The earlier T5s didn't have that. So yeah, I'll throw on a time lapse, crack into this thing, and I'll see what I find. Just a bit of the oil stirred up. You can see like the water bubbles. That's like the best I can show you. And it can dissolve back in really quickly, but water's in there. So all right, so trans has been apart, it's all cleaned up, and with the passage of time, it's been about 2 weeks, and got some parts in. So this is right here, $420 worth of synchro refresh kit from Handle Motorsports. So got two 1-2 synchros, or blocker rings, 2, 3, 4, a fifth gear, seals, and some shift fork pads. So and these things are not getting any cheaper, I'll tell you what, but at least I get the good stuff. So here's the picture of what the modern fingered style carbon fiber blocker rings look like. This is what came out of the transmission, which is why it probably wasn't shifting very good. So this is the fiber style older blocker ring. So it's got this, it's almost like paper looking stuff for the friction material. So, and it just wears out really quickly compared to the carbon fiber stuff. These ones on the inside are almost worn. These little blocks are almost worn flush to the base ring. So yeah, These are the older way of doing it, and this is the new way of doing it. So, and these are the good ones. These are a lot more resistant to so water, to different transmission fluids and things like that. They're not as picky. So, and they're a lot more durable. So this is the current thing in the future, and this is old news, and it shows because somebody probably used the wrong fluid in here, or something else bad happened and they just wear out really fast. Because nothing else in the gearbox was really worn out. Everything looked pristine and beautiful, but just the synchros blocker rings are worn out. So, but yeah, if you put this on the bench, you can do this, spin it, you know that the stuff is worn pretty good. So, even though it doesn't look like it's worn very much, it's worn enough. So things aren't gonna start working very good, because you can take this new one, stick it flat on the bench, and you can't get it to spin because it's all very well machined. You can tell it's a genuine Tremec part. So this is what one of the Chinese 1-2 blocker rings looks like compared to genuine. So the first thing you can do, if you take it apart, it's got this looks like they literally just took a piece of carbon fiber and glued it to a ring. And they just aren't good. They're too fat. They won't fit into the transmission case. And when you assemble it all together and things won't turn, you just know that their tolerances are not good. And it's pretty terrible because you can't even take this friction ring and put it into, like, say this, because the angles are different on the cones. So they made it specifically not to infringe in copyright patents for Tremec, but they made it different and they made it terrible, and it just doesn't go together quite right. So, but oh, all right, I'm gonna get this going back together, and it's not any different than any other T5 videos out there on how to reassemble one. But the only thing different is I got the Z-spec. The Z-spec is unique because it has the pocket bearing in the back of the input shaft. So this little dealio, you saw me pulling it off the end of the shaft with a puller, but that sits right in here. And it gets rid of your needle bearings, and it's a lot stronger and more durable. And that's like one of the only upgrades the T5Z really has over a standard T5. So other than the gear ratios are a little different. It's 295 first, 0.63 overdrive. But yeah, so I'm gonna get this back together, and it should take a couple hours, and I'll get this out of my way. Hopefully make a little bit of money on the side. So put you back on the tripod, and I'll show you how this thing goes back together. All right, and with that, I got what I can get for you until the battery died. But yeah, well, here it is, all buttoned up, ready to go. And it's essentially almost like a brand new gearbox, outside and inside. All the gears look great, brand new updated synchros. This is actually better than it was when it left the factory. I don't like this shifter. It's got a weird gate to it. It does the springs. Don't like to return it to center. I'm going to advise the owner to get a different or a much better quality shifter for it, because I think this will cause them some problems in the future. There's a silly little boot that goes over it. But got them 3 quarts of shift juice. So the right stuff, because that's the only way that I'm going to warranty the gearbox if they use the stuff that I give them. I don't care if they want to run like Redline or Amsoil or anything like that. I still don't like using them. They cause problems. I don't care what you say. You've ran them in the past. You ran Drano in it. You ran swamp water. I don't care. Even if you run stuff that says it's legit in this country, in England, it doesn't always work with these gearboxes, because I've had 2 come back, and you know that they ran incompatible transmission fluid because the synchronizers just destroy themselves in a short amount of time, and all that carbon fiber stuff turns all squishy and it disintegrates, and yeah, within 100 miles they're toast again. So you got to run the right stuff. That's the only way I'll even remotely contemplate a warranty on anything. And you know, I've been building these transmissions for well over 10-15 years now, and I've had 1 come back, other than the 2 that didn't run the right juice. And the 2 that didn't run from the right juice were from the same guy using the same juice in both the transmissions. So, but I got him to understand what he did is the reason why they messed up, with all the proof that I showed him. And the other one that ever came back was from when the guy was real cheap and he didn't want to get new synchros for it. The old synchros were burnt and were black, but he said, "Oh, they got enough meat on it, let's run them." Well, we put it together, and they didn't have the friction that they needed to do anything. So he had paid me to take it back apart again, and pay me to put some good synchros in it. And after that, it worked great. And well, I knew that's the way it was gonna go, but I couldn't convince him otherwise. So yeah, a little long video. Tried to make it so if you just wanted to follow along, you know, see some of the nitty gritty. If not, you could have clicked through it and go on to the next one. But that's it for now. Hopefully we got some more news coming on Pete's car, what his problem with the surging is. We're gonna get out this Labor Day weekend. We're gonna go to a car show on Sunday. The weather's good. Hopefully it should be good if we don't get any of the remnants from the hurricane coming this way. And we should have some more good stuff coming. So thanks guys for sticking with me, and hope to catch you again soon.